Sorry for the delay, but hello everyone to those just joining, to those who have been waiting, to everyone watching things back on the VOD, whether it's here on Twitch or on YouTube, depending on when you're watching this. Hello, welcome to another stream, and it is Sunday once again, which means it is Game Dev Day. So since last week, of course, I've been a little busy. I haven't been able to make much more progress on how things were when I last left things off, which, for people who don't know, if you're hopping into these kinds of streams for the first time, hello, welcome. Glad to have you here. But for people who have been here before and either didn't get... Oh, sorry about that. And weren't here last week or haven't had chance to catch up for a while. So, the week before last week, we finished building the test level for testing out the player mechanics, so the player movement mechanics and whatnot. And then after that, during last week's stream, I also may as well get, where is music? There we go, more Spyro 2 music. Should be able to hear that. But anyway, during last week's stream, we also were in the middle of prototyping two things. I also forgot that I have the display capture on for Unreal to be able to sort of... Oh, I didn't turn it on. So hold on just a moment. There we go. Ooh, whoops. I should also close Spotify just a moment. There. Right. Just so that you can actually, you know, see my, the context windows for Unreal and whatnot, because if I'm using the window capture rather than the display capture, you can't see it, so that was a thing that we briefly went over last week. But yeah, so going over what we managed to get done during the stream last week. So there were two obstacles that I had in mind as part of this level's design. These little piston type objects where like periodically if it will just take a while for play mode to load, that always happens. Anyway, sorry about that. Anyway, so the two piston thing, or the very least one piston thing that I've put into the level twice, along this segment where the player is learning to use the sprint. So every so often, the piston will push. Oh, that is, that's weird. That shouldn't have happened. Oh, that is weird. Right. So every so often, it's supposed to push the player off like that. So, obviously something is happening. If I just... It might be a case of... Okay, right, I'm gonna go over things, because that was weird. I'm gonna stand here. Why did the player just phase through that one time? Hold on, I don't think I'm standing close enough to reproduce that. Hold on. Right. So that first one is fine. Let's just, Right, so that's fine with the second one. We're just gonna double check, see if it's all okay. Right, it's working now. What the hell was going on? That was so weird. That feels like that shouldn't have happened, but it did? Like, the evidence is there on the VOD, like, whoa. But anyway, so we've got these piston things where they don't deal damage, but they will push the player off of, like, a platform or walkway or whatever. And in the case of, like, the little sprint area, it will just simply push the player into this little tray here, where they can just jump back up and sort of run along here. And then sort of carry on their merry way, doing the air dash section and all that jazz. So, and so on and so forth. So go to the air dash section and the double air dash section after that. And then after the wall jumping, like the wall jump section, I was making spikes. And I don't have proper damage enabled for these spikes as of yet. So, but there is hit registration for these spikes, and their main purpose is to essentially kind of force the player to swap, like, what the wall they're sliding down when trying to go down here. So, I only have the one there for the time being because for the time being last time because I was testing things out, but because I know that it works properly now, at the very least in terms of hit detection, I'm going to duplicate it, rotate it, and then we're gonna find a nice little spot further down the wall where there's enough room for the player to be able to jump into this part of the wall without hitting the spikes. Because otherwise that'd just be plain unfair, wouldn't it? So, right, there we go. That's slap bang on the wall. Cool. Also, if you're wondering why there's two boxes, like two box colliders for these spikes, if I go over things again, it may take me a little while to think about it because it has been a week. And it's been a week without touching this project properly, so... Okay, now I remember. Right. So, the box, like the solid box, which is, as you can see here, the inner box, that is used to detect when the player has actually landed on it, if they implement the player interface. Then player target has been set. Of course, this message, I don't really... Boo! Hello, Heater. I don't really need to print player hit spikes anymore, because we know that the player hits the spikes when they land on the collision box. So we have a timer handle here. Oop, why did I name it B? I have no idea. I think I was in the mood of naming booleans. I don't know why. I'm popping in briefly because I want to take a shower in a bit. But hi, hello. I hope you've been having a good day, Heater. I saw that they still want to give you the Reagan plush, which is good. So after so we're checking. So once. Wait, brain. Hold on, brain. Okay, so when it successfully detects the player target is set, which is the first thing. Then we set a timer to this timer handle, so an event to this timer handle, where every 0.5 seconds, the event that's bound to this will trigger. So every 0.5 seconds, we'll run a check. So first, we'll check if the player has been, or we'll check if the player has been hit. They said it was due to, like, lack of demand in the pre... Oh, okay. To be fair, if there's, like, less of a demand, then there's less of a rush to make things. But at the very least, you're still getting it. Oh. That's good. That's good. But yeah, we'll check if the player has been hit, in this case. If they haven't been hit, then we will say that they have been hit. And then... player has been hit. Then on the code side, because I haven't opened the editor at all, so need to reopen C++ classes, Twitch prototype. Oh, that's Clip Studio. We have our blank little slate open for when we need to doodle down the notes. Right, so in the player class, when the set player has been hit is being called from the blueprint. So we get this method here, which of course is which is overriding the let's play a character interface. Yeah, which is overriding this method. So set player has been hit, yada yada yada. So in the player character itself, of course, the base method is called to, although there's no base implementation, so I guess there's really no point in calling this here, I guess, but who knows, small decisions. Anyway, so B player has been hit is set to B has been hit, and then if B has been hit, then first, we make a reset hit handle as a local variable, so we get a timer handle, and then we bind the event of calling set has been hit false to 1 second after, like, this timer has been set. So has been set false is called here, and I can't remember where it was put. It might have been put down here somewhere because of how methods have been ordered in the header, in the H file. Yep, set has been hit false. And the reason why we have this void method for set has been hit false to be able to reset it is because by default, as a thing with setting timer handles, in order for a method to be eligible to be called from the timer handle or from the timer itself, it needs to be a void method. No, wait, hold on. Yeah, no, it needs to be a void method. No, wait, no, hold on. Could it? I think, 1, it needs to be a void method. 2, it can't accept any inputs, so it has to be something that doesn't have any parameters or anything. Because originally, I was trying to call this, like, this own method recursively. If you do not know what recursion means, it basically means, having something that basically calls itself. And recursion... Sorry about that. Recursion is used a lot in algorithms where you're needing to randomly generate, say, a maze or something for a roguelike game, where you need it sort of constantly sort of like trail along a given sort of direction until it reaches like a point where it can't place like a certain piece, for example. But basically, long story short, recursion basically means it's calling itself. I was trying to call this method recursively, and I couldn't from the timer because it accepts a boolean as a parameter, a true or false value as a parameter, and because it does that, it doesn't work with this macro. It doesn't work with set timer, so I had to make a separate method which essentially, when it's called, just calls this method again, but it passes in false in order for this to work. So once that method is called and it calls this method again, setting it to false, B has been hit will be set to false again, and then because it's now false, this won't be called, so it won't repeatedly call the reset timer. So, at the very least, it's robust in that sense. I kind of thought ahead a little bit with that one, where I wasn't like doing it bit by bit. I was at the very least aware of, right, I actually need to make sure that there is something in place that prevents this from just going in a loop, because an infinite loop would just kind of break things. So now that we have like that explained, so that's like the whole loop of setting whether or not the player has been hit and then resetting it after like a second. While this is ongoing, like as I said, no. Like, this is still checking every 0.5 seconds whether or not the player has been hit. If it has been hit, then it won't do this bit here if they haven't been hit. So after it's been reset, set that the player has been hit, and at the moment call the string. I don't have anything for doing damage or knockback at the moment. Also, I don't believe, at the very least, health is a proper factor yet. I really should get on that at some point, probably either today or next week, definitely. Or during the week, perhaps, because I have a bit more time in terms of trying to work on this now, because there was a thing that I was helping out with a mentor of mine, but because I wanted to focus a bit more on this and also focus on doing some other little bits on the side, of which my friends know a bit, that I'm trying to work out a thing for, because coming up with names is hard. I wanted to be able to focus on this stuff more, so I basically said I can't help out anymore, which, you know, they were perfectly fine with. So now I have more time to work on this. I have more time to learn more stuff as well, and I'm in the process of learning about Unreal's ability system. Whoa. I was already on, like, the foundations of implementing it into this project, because I thought, oh, hey, like gameplay effects and stuff. You can use gameplay effects to unlock, say, an ability, and have that be a permanent thing that's applied to the player and whatnot. So, cool. You can have abilities and moves that are locked, and then, like, on the technical side of things, when you get to a certain point, apply the effect to the player, and when that effect is applied, they just have the ability to use that thing. So that's a neat little implementation of it. That's a good way of using it. So, in that sense, I had a little bit of the ways there, but I hadn't gone through too much of the online course at the time, so, you know, my understanding of it was still fairly bare bones. But now I've gone through it a bit more, and there's a case of, oh, that's so much to talk about. Let me actually grab my notebook, because I've been writing down a lot of, like, what I've been going through with this, which, you know, always important when you're trying to learn something like this. This notebook's running out of space because there's already so much else written in here from either when I was working on projects back in Unity, or learning, like, starting to learn Unreal, or, like, more recently with, like, learning stuff, or oh yeah, there was the time I was learning shader programming too, which, yeah, no, I went through a phase of learning how to shader program because, there was a job that I was applying for at the time, and I didn't get accepted for it, of course, but they said, like, learn about, like, making, like, multiplayer games, and learn about how to do shader programming in the sense of understanding more of the core sort of, like, functionality side of how an engine functions, if that makes sense. So, right. But yeah, no, I have a lot of stuff written down now. Like, about attributes within the ability system, about how they work, about how you can have, like, sort of core attributes, and then a, like, secondary set of attributes that could be either influenced by those core attributes or by other secondary attributes, which is cool. how gameplay tags can be used as like a sort of enforcing a rule or restriction on things. Oh gosh. Right. Okay, so UI image, yeah. And also in the midst of this, writing down some general notes about stuff too, which has been pretty helpful. Though a lot of it is more tailored to the specifics of everything that I'm learning functionally, and it's a lot to take in. I'll definitely need to go back to like some of the earlier stuff in the online course that I've been learning in order to sort of get it back into my head a bit, because I may potentially forget. That's always the possibility, but yeah, so cool stuff on that end. But anyway, the other little box, which is the sort of larger one surrounding the smaller one, this essentially says, oh, if the player has left the overlap area, just clear and invalidate the player damage handle. So this handle that, as I said before, has this timer set to it for checking the player interface to see if they have been hit and whether or not to say that they're being hit by this and potentially apply damage in the future. This has been cleared and invalidated. This essentially, if this was still in the middle of counting down, and the player leaves this overlap, this is all cleared. This will stop counting down. This timer will be cleared, and this will not be sort of called again until they just land on it and it resets like all of this side of things, which is cool. It's cool. It's great. It's cool. It's neat. But basically, that's what I did last week, and I know it took me a little while to explain things. I was kind of doing like the breakdown of not just like the blueprint side of things, but the code side of things as well with the player. In terms of what I want to get done today, so if we go into Clip Studio, and I also need to grab my drawing tablet because I have not moved it out to where I am working today, because I have been at work today, so I haven't had the chance to do that because I've been chilling and also trying to do grinding on Monster Hunter World, trying to do some Safi Jiva stuff. Speaking of, tomorrow's stream will be Monster Hunter World. I know it was supposed to be originally that on Friday, but my Sims had priority, and if something has priority, then I will change plans on a whim. But yeah, it will be Monster Hunter World tomorrow, and possibly Safi Jiva grinding, because there's still some materials I need for the armor that I want to make, and trying to get some of them can be an absolute bitch because of what you need to do in order to get it. So, yeah, that's happening tomorrow. But yeah, in terms of... Oh god, I didn't realize that this was still using my... Oh god, this is using my size specifications for me drawing my reference sheet. Oh god, it's no longer 800 by 800, it's 3300 by 2550 pixels. This is a nightmare. But well, a larger pencil doesn't hurt. It kind of resolves the problem. It's basically the same once I do that. It's just that you can see a lot more of the details that way. And it looks a little less pixelated. Anyway, so last week we had the Oh god damn it! I forgot to turn ads off. Okay, Opera. Where are you? There you go. And I'm also going to mute YouTube quickly while it plays through the ad. If I'm wanting to listen to a music, an extended mix of a old PlayStation 1 song, then I feel like it shouldn't be monetized. Like, I don't think they posted it with the intention of being monetized, but it got monetized from ads, and it kind of annoys me. Anyway, before I I was rudely interrupted, so we're gonna do that again. So last week we got the pistons done, we got the spikes done, except for the actual damage bit. So we got these things done last week. Okay, that's cool. Until we need to actually start thinking about damage and how, like, the player's health is going to work and everything, we do not need to worry about this or this, because the pistons just do one thing. They just push the player. They don't need to, like, do any other function aside from pushing the player. Okay? Cool. So, the third thing I wanted to work on last week was ladders. I wanted to work on ladders because, like, most if not all platformers, 3D platformers, 2D platformers, at least incorporate ladders in some kind of way. Like if we're looking at Spyro just flat out has ladders. Like the 2D Mario games have ladders. Mario Galaxy does to an extent. I don't think Crash Bandicoot does, but then again, it's not really a collectathon platformer. It's a platformer, but it's in a different sense of a platformer, if that makes sense. But yeah, no. I'm also thinking of, like, Mega Man games, like classic Mega Man, Mega Man X, Mega Man Zero, and whatnot. Like, they would have had ladders too. I didn't get the chance to look into these during the week, which is sad, because I would have at least liked to have a little bit of an understanding of them before trying to do this today. But, no. Sadly, that's not the case. Anyway, ladders. That's a thing to focus on. Another thing is player physics adjustments. So player physics. So, if I go over things, again, so back into Rider, I'm going to close some of these excess tabs because I don't need absolutely every single one of them open. I don't need the base projectile open. I guess in a way I need the player controller open, but I don't at the same time, because this is mainly to do with the custom character movement that I made back when I started working... Oh wait, TP... Player character... Hold on, this would be in the private section. It would have been a... Spring arm, Stunt force, current movement speed... Oh wait, no, this would have been in the... base class, I think. So, in the TP... Wait, actually, does this inherit from anything else, or does it only inherit from... Oh yeah, ATP underscore character... ATP character base. Which... So, TP character base, TP... I'm just blind. I can't find it. Go to declarational use. There we go. So character base, you attributes there. Okay, no, it's not. Also, I'm trying to remember where the hell I put this in the actual, like, folder structure. Like, it should be... Did I think I moved it... Oh, wait, no, it's in the public folder. Never mind, I'm silly. Right. So... No, nothing's defined here. So, get moving... I'm confused. Also, I didn't switch to like the rider screen. I keep accidentally doing that. Anyway, I need to find where the player's blueprint is because, you know, I need to double check a thing. Because if I'm not using that character movement, then that's kind of odd. So character movement. Oh wait, no, I set the component class in the editor. Okay, I must away now. See you in a bit, Hitor. Bye bye. Good luck with your funny letters. I will do my best. And hopefully I can come up with a name for the thing. Because names are difficult. Anywho, so found out that I didn't actually directly define it in the code. I just set whatever the component class was to that class. Cool. Anyway, back to Rider because I need to explain things. So custom character move.h. So in terms of the player's, I will try and help you later. I would very much appreciate that. Thank you, Peter. So anyway, in terms of the player's physics, at the moment, there's only like a couple of things that I'm sort of like adjusting here. In terms of the player character itself, that kind of does some adjustments, mostly to its max speed when the player chooses to sprint and stop sprinting and whatnot, and that's handled by that side, which is fine. In terms of the movement component as well, it will handle setting the gravity scale for the player, so when they're jumping or when they're falling, then the gravity scale is set to a specific variable depending on whether they're currently, like, it will say whether or not they're in the air, or whether whether they've pressed jump, or okay, I'm gonna be right back. I need to go check something and also go to the bathroom because, of course, I forgot to do that before stream. I will not be long. Just hang tight. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. So anyway, as I was explaining before, because I feel like I rushed it a little bit to try and sort of take the quick break while I could, but, that gravity scale basically runs, like, basically all the time. I feel like this isn't necessarily the greatest thing to have it run, like, every frame. I know it's only setting a value, so maybe because it's only setting a value, it's not really like taxing on performance. So who knows? Also, this is only happening to the player. As far like at the moment, maybe that will be different if more than one object is using this movement component. But at the moment, the player is the only one using it, so I guess it's not too much of a problem. But yeah, during tick components, so this basically functions the same as just the tick function within like an actor or a character or whatever. Set gravity scale is used, and as I was saying, if the player character, I believe owner character is TP underscore player character, cause I only made this for the player. Oh yeah, no, I only made it for the player. Right, cool. Anyway, if they are pressing jump, then the gravity scale will be set to the jumping gravity scale, which is 1.7. If the player is no longer pressing jump, and they're currently falling, then their gravity scale will be set to the falling gravity scale, which is set to 3, which gives things a bit more of an exaggerated gravity. Otherwise, if the player is just kind of not doing like jumping at all, if they're on the ground, then it's just set to 1. I don't know why I need to say it to this. I guess it's just having a nice little neutral value when the player is just kind of on the ground, moving around and whatnot. So that's what happens with the player's gravity. At the moment, that's all this movement component does. And I'm guessing, in a sense, I could possibly do something different if I was doing the ladders. So, you know what? In the midst of this, I'm also going to use another tab. And I'm going to find a tutorial for ladders in Unreal Engine. And of course, the hero here is the video that goes on for 7 minutes, and it does things in one video rather than an entire series of videos, which is cool. I always love to see that. Always the bright side. I'm gonna try and skip to, you know, it actually teaching me how to do the thing. So, because there's an initial setup with the like setting up the blueprint, setting up the mesh for it and whatnot, which I guess is necessary if you're wanting to actually have the visuals of the ladder. I'm also going to put the editor back on, so again, I'm going to test this within blueprints rather than doing it within code, because it's much easier to do this way if I'm doing it for like a minor thing rather than something that really heavily relies upon the C++ code. So this will again be a level object. I don't have an actual mesh for the ladder right now, so maybe I could just sort of make a makeshift kind of like fake kind of mesh. So blueprint class, I'm gonna make it an actor. It's going to be BP underscore ladder. Okay. I did not leave it running in the background. Cool. So in the ladder, we're gonna go... I'd rather do on component begin overlap, because this tutorial says on or actor begin overlap, which... But I guess for the sake of doing things, we'll just... Does implement interface. So check player. Whoops. So we'll check if they implement the player character interface, because, you know, it's agnostic rather than actually checking for a specific class, which is nice. It's a nice thing about interfaces. I love it a lot. And I guess, in a sense, actor and overlap will have the same check. Because we don't want it to just, like, have, like, a random thing just enter and then leave, and it stops the player from being able to climb the ladder. So only if the object implements the interface will do things on either front. So move it up here. Also, I wonder what the comments say. Coming from run for third person at least. Yeah, an IA movement. I'm still looking at this, because they add a boolean to... Whoops, I did not mean to open Microsoft Edge. Whoops! Okay, so this will probably need... It will need one of two things. One, it will need to... Actually, there may be some things that I need to add to the player character interface. So, before we continue with making the functionality for the ladders and stuff, we'll go back into the code and sort things out. Because, while it is good that I'm just doing this, thing where I'm not checking for the actual class, but for the whether or not it implements the interface to use as the middleman, which is always cool. Some of this requires talking with doing talking points with the inputs. Let me think. Right. I'm going to close the movement for now, because I do not need that. Where is player character interface? There it is. So... And the reason why I'm doing that is because I want to get the player controller from the player. So I'm going to make a new interface function here within the H file. Blueprint native event. Through callable. And we're going to return a pointer for a ATP player controller, get player controller, no, get player character controller. And when we properly implement this, we'll check to see, like, if the player controller that the player is using is actually that type. And if it is, then we'll return that. Otherwise, we'll return null and whatnot. So also, another thing, we need to add another boolean. Has it been? No, it hasn't been like an hour and a half. That I was about to say that can't be right. Anyway, like, it's only been 50 minutes. It can't, like, the song can't have ended. So yeah, sorry about that. We're gonna have another boolean. I'm gonna put it under here, just for the sake of, I guess, kind of organizing things, even though some things aren't truly organized. So B, let me think, is on ladder, and we're gonna set that to false by default. And then we're gonna add another method. So U function. So same U function macro blueprint callable, so we can call it from blueprints. And a returnable is going to be called get is on ladder. Right, cool. And I think for now that's what we need to do here in terms of the player character interface. We don't really need anything else now for the time being, so, you know, cool things, cool beans, we've gotten that sorted. I also keep getting distracted, and, yeah, things happen. Brain. Okay, yeah, no. Now I need to implement these. First, I need to implement these methods into the player class. So, back up here with all the other, so, get is on ladder implementation. So, we don't need to return that, but now I'll just return false. And I'll also say class player controller, because at the moment, if I was to try and implement that method here and not include the forward declaration for it, it would just flag an error when I tried to compile it. So void, get player character controller implementation. So first, I'm just gonna put this as return null for now, because I don't want to have, like, no, not return null pointer. So set that there for now, because there is a thing I want to take care of quickly. Include TP. Oh wait, no, hold on. Oh wait, no, now I remember. I use the header file here because oh yeah, no, now I remember. We're using this for the ability system stuff. Okay, cool. That's why I use this here, so I don't need to just do that again. Okay, that makes things a little bit easier. Okay, so first we'll say if, and there's an easy way I can do this without needing to, you know, first define the thing and then say, oh hey, check if this is valid and whatnot, I could just do this within the if statement itself. Watch this. So if ATP underscore player controller pointer PC equals cast get controller. Oh wait, I forget. I need to put the type and then in the brackets. Silly me. So in here, get controller. Else. So in here, if the controller type does not match up, is not like this same one. So if this controller that is controlling the player does not successfully cast into this class, then we'll return null pointer. We'll say that this method has failed. Otherwise, we'll return BC. So return B is on ladder. Oh wait, no, actually, I realized I need another method for this. I need a setter. Cool. Right, so that was another bot. That was another bot sending spam links. Cool beans, cool beans. So we need to define yet another method. I thought we were done here for now, but no, we need to do the stuff. So not ball. It needs to be a void. Set is on ladder. So void set is on ladder, which is just basically the setter thing. So where get is on ladder gets whether or not the player is on the ladder. Set. Oh wait, I should also have it accept a parameter. Whoops! Bool be on ladder. Cool. Right. So this needs to accept this as a parameter. So get is on ladder, and then here set is on ladder. And then we say B is on ladder. B on ladder. Cool. Right, so that's things done on the code side of things, I believe, for now. Let me think. Oh yeah, no, that's things done for now for these two things. I will need to do some tinkering with the player controller because of how that is the thing responsible for handling inputs. So gonna close these files, and we're gonna find where the player controller is. TP underscore player controller. So player move. And this is where things get a little bit complicated. Because if we were using Unreal Engine 4, how things would be set up within a default third person Or no. Actually, how things would be set up within an Unreal Engine 4 character, or at the very least, using the old input system in Unreal Engine 5, because of course we're using input actions rather than, you know, and like input mapping contexts and whatnot. How it would have worked before is that we would have defined the action, like we would have named like an input axis. So we define an input axis, so for example, move forward, and that would handle like moving the forward and backward, that would handle like Y inputs, and move right would handle, of course, like moving left and right, that would handle like the X inputs. And you essentially, what would be happening here with like the input actions and the mapping context and whatnot, where we're taking move value.y and move value.x and applying like movement in that respective like direction. Basically the same thing happens, but rather than happening in like a singular method like it is here, it would happen within their own separate like methods. And that's how it would work. And in that sense, you could simply just take the move forward event on the old input system, run a check to basically say, oh, hey, you're moving forward. Are you on the ladder? If you're not on the ladder, just move forward normally. If you are on the ladder, we're just going to have to do things a little bit differently. So, here's where I'm wondering. So, stay with me here for a moment. There is something I need to figure out. So, there is one of two things I could do. At the very least, I think there's one of two things I can do. I either have a loose idea, or I've already forgotten what the two ideas were, and I'm basically spitballing here. So I have one of two ideas, at the very least. At the very least, I think so. So, my one idea, if I go back into the code, what I could basically do is, here, I could just do it within this method as, like, basically have it entirely encapsulated within this method. So run the check, do everything here, and then split it off into two separate methods. Or I could have another method that is basically passing in whatever the whatever the forward direction the move value is, and then do things that way, and then I know it probably isn't the most clean way of doing it, but I'm going to do it anyway. So I'm going to do this way anyway, just for the sake of it makes sense to my brain. It's probably definitely not the most clean method of doing this, but this is what I'm going to go with for now until I can think of something better. So handle forward input. So f vector forward direction. Oh wait, f vector and then float forward scale. So handle forward input, la-di-da-di-da, that's defined there. So oh, I also need to pass in the controlled pawn. Whoops. So a pawn pointer controlled pawn. There we go, and the function. Okay, so handle forward input. So I'm gonna say if get does implement interface. So I made this method to basically check from here whether or not the interface is implemented. So we'll only actually do everything here if the interface is implemented. Otherwise, the player just can't move. Which, you know, kind of a little counterintuitive, but it's also funny. It's a bit of an odd solution. Sorry, I was lifting. No, I was reading messages. That's what I meant. Sorry about that. Anywho, also ads are currently ongoing for people who are in chat, for people who are watching on the VOD. This doesn't affect you. So first we check if the interface is implemented. If it isn't, then this just doesn't run at all. Then we say if wait, hold on. It's if player character interface execute underscore get is on ladder. So controlled pawn. So at the very least we were. Oh yeah, it would have also been necessary for that as well. So so not just for applying the movement, but also checking using the interface method. So if they're on the ladder, then we'll do whatever we need to do with the ladder here. But for now, we basically need to add movement input in this way. So we'll take this, we'll move it up, and of course we need to rename some things because this is. And instead of move value.y, we just have forward scale. Cool. Right. So, first things first, I'm going to go back into Clip Studio because we're going to, like, build the project again. So, we're going to rebuild the project from source. So, we're first going to check if this all works. If this all works well enough, the player should be able to move around as they normally have been able to before. So, okay. Hopefully that should be fine now. I really should pin this folder to my Explorer so I can access it easier rather than having to go like back and then forward in the hierarchy for my files. How do I pin? Pin to quick access. There we go. So, switch prototype, binaries, intermediate, save. generate Visual Studio project files. And we'll find out the moment. It won't be too long until the moment of truth where we find out, oh hey, this code is working, or oh hey, we've broken the code and we need to find out what the hell's going on with it. You know, always the problem, you know. Right, and now the moment of truth. We're gonna find out if I've broken the code. I mean, I don't have a little drum roll. It's not coming through on my mic. That sucks. So judging by the fact that nothing has happened yet, I'm concerned. Okay, there's right. I'm looking at the stuff within the folder. It doesn't seem like things have broken. It hasn't flagged the warning saying the project failed to compile from source. So I think we're in the clear. Also, mildly off topic. Mildly off topic, but the final trailer for Sonic 3 comes out tomorrow. I can't wait to see it. I know friends and whatnot are probably gonna be like, I'm going in blind, I'm not watching any of the trailers or anything, but I still get excited even if I have seen the trailers, because it's like, you're building up hype. I just want to see how things look, and like from what I've seen from the trailers previously so far, I can't wait. Next month is gonna be so fucking good. Like when the movie comes out next month, peak, absolute peak. Sonic 2 was great. Sonic 1, I'd say it was decent. It was a good foundation, but it definitely felt like an awkward sort of fit at first. Especially given the fact that Sonic's original model for the first movie would have been terrifying if people hadn't complained and basically forced the studio to remake him to look more accurate to the games. Or, at the very least, emulating a lot of what Sonic looks like from the games. Whew, sorry about that. And I know that there have been, like, mild tweaks to things as, like, each movie has gone on. It's it's just the wait. It's just the wait for things to reopen again. Also, while I'm at it, I may as well, since Nightbot hasn't reminded me at all, because you know how Nightbot is mostly based on the activity and stuff. So Nightbot's not here right now. I may as well take all of my important stuff while I'm just kind of sat here waiting, and so I don't forget. I swear, having asthma and diabetes and essentially having to take medicine that helps with either the condition itself or something caused by it is kind of a nightmare, because sometimes you just kind of like sat there waiting for like the right moment to properly swallow the tablet, and then because of that you just kind of sat there awkwardly. Whew, right. There we go, all sorted. And the project's back open, so we can reopen it. Now, if all has gone well, and this is here again, if all has gone well, I'm not going to move to the test level, I'm just going to stay here in the third-person map. We should still be able to move. We should still be able to move if all has gone well. If it hasn't gone well, we're screwed. So, you know, just putting it lightly, we will not be able to do anything. Yep, no, things are not working. Why is it not working? Okay, something went wrong. Let's see. Let's go back into the player controller, because... Oh, wrong window. Whoops. It is taking a while to load it, though. Oh, wait, no, that's why I forgot to call the method. Whoops! So, handle forward input takes forward direction, move value dot y, and controlled spawn. I thought I was done, but turns out there was something I forgot. Okay, so we're gonna need to close this and the engine and then rebuild from source again. Sorry about that. Right. once again, remove the files that we always remove. Then generate the project files. Sometimes it gets very repetitive sometimes. This is... Oh, wait, I forgot to click the thing on the following module files are missing on the thing. Whoopsie daisy. It's just opening now. Right, there we go. Project's open. Now we can... This should actually work now. It was kind of a silly mistake from the last time, so... There we go. And now our movement's fully working again. Cool. Right, so next part is... I need to continue going through the thingamajiggy. So, yeah. sorry. I keep answering messages. I was in group chat. The subject of coming up with a name for a thing that I'm trying to do came up, and we're just kind of doing puns based on my username. Like, different variants of the username. So, for example, medieval account, DS Flails, DS Sales for a fishing account, DS Gales for a wind account, DS Bales for someone who helps with bail, DS Nails for a beauty account. But yeah, that's the silly stuff we're coming up with in the damn group chat. It's always funny. Anyway, so Oswald. Anyway, now that we've got that working, back into the player controller because we need the player controller for this. Right, so I keep forgetting to switch back to the correct window for this. I know it's probably pointless doing that, but at the same time, I like keeping my things separate for like game dev streams. It keeps things organized in my head. So at the moment, within the player controller, as we've just done, we've split like handling the actual Y input into its own method. So at the moment, in that handle forward input method, when the player is not like on a ladder, then they'll just move around normally. But what if we want to move the player up and down a ladder? How do we do that? So what we would need to do is I should probably also... Oh, whoops. I guess in a way it's useful to get the movement component. And not just like as the specific custom component I made, but just in general, just get a generic movement component, because I only need to really, like, set the movement mode. That's all I really need to do. Right, so execute is on ladder. Player character interface, we're going to need to make another method. I thought we only needed to make those 3. We need to make a 4th. I'm sorry. But, so U function, blueprint, native event, blueprint callable, and this will probably be useful to have in general. So a character. Why is that being so weird? Oh, it's a U component. Whoops. Right. Silly me. So U character movement component. Get movement component, because this will be useful for other stuff, like other interactions. So get player movement component. So we'll get the player's movement component. Whoops. And this will be very helpful. So back into the player character, we need to get player movement component, generate the definition for this, and then so return get character movement, because I'm pretty sure this only applies to if it is it doesn't exist in the A pawn class, it exists in the A character class, so we wouldn't be able to call that on control pawn. And while I guess I could cast the pawn class to the character class, I wanted to do it this way because at the very least, that later down the line this will become multi-purpose, so this will be helpful. So I player character interface execute get player movement component. So control pawn set movement mode. So E movement mode, and we need to set it to flying rather than, you know, the default the default walking or falling. So we set the movement mode because we need to set it to flying. Otherwise, well, this won't work because the player will just keep being weighed down. Then it probably could just be set to that when the player enters and leaves, but I feel like that's kind of difficult. So next we do the same as we're doing with the control pawn. Add movement input, but instead of doing forward direction, I'll just put the semicolon there, so we just have that there and it's not throwing an error on this line. F vector up direction equals control pawn get actor up vector. So, oh, the song ended. We'll go for the trolley trouble, Breeze Harbor. Cool, right. So, as I was saying, we get the up direction by getting the up vector, so where it's currently pointing up for the player. And then we throw in that into the direction that this movement's being applied in. And then we simply just do the forward scale. Cool. So that's basically everything in terms of like the movement at the very least, from what I understand. So we're gonna have to rebuild and recompile all of this again. So back into Clip Studio, back into deleting the folders from the main project folder, like after it's kind of like had its little moment to just kind of warm up and realize, oh wait, shit, these programs are closed now. Anyway, just answering some messages again. I think that's basically it on the C++ side of things. I know it probably could have been done in entirely within blueprints, but because of how I have this project set up already, it made more sense to do part blueprint, part writing things within the code. So yeah, it's not too much of a big deal. Right. So this kind of plays into a little bit with the player physics because of how like character movement, component movement modes work and whatnot, and how certain things will happen like within certain movement modes. Like, for example, the movement mode for walking can just transition into, I believe, falling. But flying doesn't transition into any other movement modes, I don't believe, unless you force it to or from that movement mode. At the very least, that's my understanding. I haven't messed around with movement modes too much, so I guess there's always cause for exploration for this kind of stuff. Yeah, so the ladders themselves kind of interact with player physics in a way that we kind of ignore how player physics normally function. Oh wait, I think I was already in the middle of you return. Hello, return. I am Tom. I'm hoping this is not an actual case of it broke, or I forgot that I already started rebuilding the modules for the project, and I'm waiting for it to just kind of... Oh, yep, nope, there it is. Right, so I had already started it. Right, I'm going to make another little thing just in case I need to do other little doodles. So, with the whole ladder situation, so we will hopefully have ladders, at the very least, momentarily. So with the ladders, we have another option for our verticality aside from just our wall jumps. So we'll have ladders. We'll also have the wall jumps, wall slide type deal. Both can exist sort of alongside one another. We can do things with both of these, which is cool. Right, so we can do things with both of these. I'm trying to think, because I don't think Little Rat Man would actually glide, but unless we actually gave him like a little glider. Yeah, it's good to have variety. Because at the moment, Little Rat Man can, I mean, he's not completely the Rat Man yet, but Little Rat Man will have the ability to sprint, to air dash, to stomp, to wall jump, wall slide, and all that. And maybe I could have a kind of a glide or kind of like a little thing in there somewhere, but we already have the air dash. So it would kind of be redundant, and I feel like it would make things a bit awkward to mesh with the ability to air dash, because like maybe it's a case of you jump, you hold on and whatnot, and then you let go, and then you sort of But at the same time, it would still interfere with the air dash stuff. Like, what if you let go of the glide, but you want to glide again, and you press the spacebar? But you're air dashing now. You're not gliding, or the glide sort of triggers in the middle of the air dash. That's kind of why a glide ability won't work. And I guess in a way, the air dash already kind of covers what you would need a glide to do anyway. In kind of a different way. In my opinion. Like, it works. It works for its own purposes. It doesn't need to do, like, absolutely everything you'd expect out of another thing, but it does work well. It does work well for what it needs to do, and kind of links well with the wall jumping. Though, could they not be delegated to... They could be. They could be. They could be delegated to different buttons, but the issue with that, I find, is, like, in other games, I'd say Spyro is the main example because, you know, inspiration and whatnot. Like, with Spyro being the main example, the main issue would be, like, players would expect, like, a kind of glide thing to be allocated to, you know, the jump button as well. And if we were to separate them, it would make it a bit awkward if they were trying to do other things. So, I'm not sure, actually. Like, there is a, like, probably, like... So we have jump, we have sprint, we have stomp. Air dashing fits within the jump. Actually, it might be possible if we were to do it on a... Because... But then again, Then again, like, bumper and trigger buttons exist basically on almost all controllers, or basically all controllers now. So, maybe it could be something like that. I don't know. But then, of course, if I was to actually go ahead with it, it would have to be a case of while they're gliding, they cannot air dash, and while they're air dashing, like, in the process of an air dash, they can't glide, and so on. So, I'd have to think, what if air dashing needs, like, button plus forward to trigger? Maybe. Maybe, because a lot of it does depend on, like... I mean, sure, like, if I was to go into it at the moment, with how it functions right now, I should also swap back to the dev window, because, yeah, or maybe... Right, so at the moment, with how it works... So if I was to air dash, if I was to double tap for the air dash, also the frame rate dropped a little bit. Like, regardless of whether or not you're holding forward, I'm not holding forward right now, as you can tell. It just kind of, like, still goes forward. And I guess in some games that would be okay, but you don't really... But then again, if... Oh, whoops. I wish I could just pull up Spyro Reignited just to sort of, like, use as an example, but at the moment it's kind of... I uninstalled it from... I think, actually, Nevermind wouldn't work. What was your idea? I'd like to hear it, still, at the very least. But at the very least, I do like the wall snapping. The wall snapping works lovely. Like, so if I was to just, you know... Or it works, like, very great for the most part, but if you're, like, turned too far, like, at a certain, like, angle, it just doesn't clip on. Which, I guess maybe you would expect that to, but maybe I should adjust it too. But in terms of how it works at the moment, of course, as I said, if you're not holding forward and you just double tap for the air dash, it will just still do air dash forward. And maybe you could have it be context-based. I would have to, like, work a few things out for that, but I feel like it could work. maybe, as I said, I'd have to look into it, but it's an idea to consider. But as I said, in terms of like controllers, I know like hard to explain and makes no sense, Lamau. Oh. And also, I'm kind of doing, you know, the cliche thing, like when you're playing a game, like in the VC, but the talk has gotten deep enough, so you're just kind of running around, hopping around, and doing stuff now. That's basically what I'm doing right now while trying to explain things. So yeah, anyway, as I was... Oh yeah, ad break now. But yeah, as I was saying... Oh wait, I'll wait until here's that. I'll explain it for people watching on the VOD, at the very least. So with controllers and, you know, face buttons and all that, like... Come on. Using Spyro as an example again, like, sorry to be, like, beating a dead horse or just kind of, predictable and whatnot. Heating system will return. But... Yeah, no. As I was saying, in the Spyro games, fucking enter... But in the Spyro games, on the face buttons at the very least, like, there's one action, or one main action assigned to each of the buttons. So, for... And I'm using the Xbox controller as an example. Sorry, I'm not speaking fluent PlayStation. For the Xbox controller at least, X would be to charge, A would be to jump, B would be to breathe fire, and Y would be to, basically, ground pound. But with jumping, at the very least, if you were to double tap the jump button, then you start to glide, as, you know, as you do in the Spyro games. And here's the thing, this is where things get a little bit interesting with, like, you know, things being context-based. If you, like, in Spyro 3 at the very least, if you press the button that would normally stomp, then you just do a little hop. Anyway, I'm gonna re-explain for people who are back from the ads now. So, well, hello, welcome back from ads. Oh yeah, so with the face buttons, using Spyro as an example, there is one, at the very least, one main action that would be allocated to each of the face buttons. So, using an Xbox controller notation, because I don't speak fluent PlayStation, as I said for people who are watching on the VOD while the ads were running on. X would be Spyro's charge, A would be jump, B would be breathe fire, and Y would be Spyro's, like, headbutt. And in terms of the jump, at the very least, double tapping jump will start the glide, and Spyro's little headbutt button, if he's in the middle of gliding, at the very least in Spyro 3, he will do that little hop out of his glide, which gives him, like, a little bit of control. Hello, back. However, I guess because, like, bumpers and triggers were not too important back in the older days, and whatnot, nothing was really allocated to, like the R1, R2, or left trigger, right trigger, and left bumper, right bumper, and whatnot. So, in this vein, I can kind of see a whole kind of, like, using either the bumper or the trigger as your means of using the glider separate from the air dash. But that was my idea, that was the thing I'm kind of spitballing. Anyway, my idea for if I was to potentially implement gliding as a little thing for the Ratman. Anyway, I need to remember what I was doing, which was trying to sort out the stuff for the ladders. the air dash, like, in terms of, like, stuff and, like, movement, having the air dash and wall jumps and stuff makes it really fun, especially if, like, I managed to properly work out how to properly string the two together. It would make things very dynamic and very fun to try and figure things out. Like, especially if you're trying to figure new things out on, like, a repeated playthrough, maybe. But we haven't gotten that far yet. But it is something that shows, like, a lot of potential. And I guess mixing in the glide would also... It would potentially add to that, but of course, it couldn't be too effective. It would have to, like, have the player just kind of fall at a pace that sort of steadily increases, maybe. Yeah, that's how it could work. Right, so... Game, blueprints, level objects, like, it's definitely... Yeah, no, it would definitely be easier having, like, a glide in terms of, like, designing the levels, but if I'm able to properly nail down a formula for designing levels in a way that make best use of, like, the stomping, the wall jumping, and the air dash, it would be a lot more fun to do. So I do want to try and figure that out, rather than, you know, falling back on, you know, having that... Like, it would be a nice little simple mechanic, but at the same time, with things that I've already defined, it would kind of, I guess, ruin things in a way. So, anyway, so, at the moment, I don't have a proper mesh for ladders. So we're going to add a cube. First, we're going to add a cube. So, temp ladder mesh. And I want to put this somewhere here. You know what? I'll delete this, delete this, delete this, delete this, delete, delete, delete. Because I don't need these objects in the third-person map, and I am testing it here rather than the actual level, because... So first I need to make sure that it works fine. We'll move this up by about 40, see what that does. Okay, it needed to be 50. It needed to be an offset of 50. Right, cool. So now that I have that sorted out, we can sort out how this mesh is going to look, because it's not going to be like big cube. It's going to be like something slim to represent what a ladder would look like. So along the X, maybe 0.3? Yeah, 0.3. And scale of 1 on the Y is fine. Oh wait, no, not 6. 4 might be enough. There we go. So at the moment, this is what our ladder is looking like. It doesn't have the functionality to trigger, like, you know, the player actually climbing on things yet, but you know, it's there, and it definitely works, or it should work. Hopefully, once I get it sorted out. I'm saying that under the assumption that it is going to work. Because we never know. Right. Next, we need to add at the very least, under the default scene route, we need to add the box collision for overlaps and stuff. I think. You know the vibe I think of when I imagine how parkour could feel here? Do tell. Also, I was looking in the comments of the tutorial I've been following on how to make the ladders, and the one comment that stood out to me, which is kind of funny, is, hold on, let me look at it again, because I have already forgotten. The person said, I'm planning an endless ladder climbing game where all you hear is Snake Eater for 999 plus hours. Like, imagine, like, you're just looking, like, it's just the fucking bird's eye top-down view of you just climbing up the ladder, and it's just Snake Eater. For the entire time, that's just... Honestly, I like that, I like that. That's a funny little thing. Oh, whoops. Oh, yeah, it makes me think of, like, getting around New Donk City in Mario Odyssey. It's so much fun to use the cap. Yeah, I know, it's... another thing, that's another thing. Super Mario Odyssey and its mechanics just made getting around so much fun. Like, I haven't played Odyssey in years, and I really should revisit it. It's been a long time. I should revisit it. Like, it was such a fun game. Like, the first time around. It was so fun. Right, so we got 50? Yeah, 50. Okay, so definitely 200 is... 227's a bit much. There we go. Or slightly more. I've 100... Yeah, I know. I am well aware that you've 100%ed it multiple times, Heater. I am 100% aware of it. Also, there is a thing that I kind of didn't get to do because oopsie. So at the moment, the player is able to, like, they're able to move up, move down, but they're, I mean, I haven't tested it out yet, but I need, before anything else, need to make sure this is, yep, overlap all, dynamic, on component, begin overlap, and on component, end overlap. So basically replace this other actor. So this basically will still just do the same thing, but instead we're doing it with just a component now, which is how you would want to do things anyway. So other actor. So first we're testing this out. We're testing this out. Oh wait, no, I did not implement the stuff that... Whoops. So what I need to do... Set is on ladder. So set is on ladder. It will only execute from the actor if it implements the interface. Set it to true, and then do the same down here. So set is on ladder. Let's set it to false. Hello. Oh, wait. Whoops. Get character movement component. Get player movement component. Yeah, there's one thing I forgot. I'm supposed to set its movement mode back to walking. Set movement mode. Set it to walking. So now this should work properly now. Also, kind of odd. That's weird. Kind of weird that the player just kind of snaps towards that direction. So if I walk into this, it snaps them in a specific oh, because of the... Right, hold on. Because it's setting the rotation based on the direction, and... So, get actor up vector. That's why I'm remembering. Because it's only the up vector, it... Hold. Also, sorry about that. Friend Dev asked me who my favorite My Sims character was, so I had to answer that question. So I had to answer that question. But anyway, from what I understand, it's between DJ Candy and Buddy. Buddy because he's a funny little guy, DJ Candy because she's just very cool. And I like her. And girls got moves, honestly. But yeah, I remember now. I'm trying to sort out things with the... Right, so specifically here, so at the moment, up direction is just... I do want to get the, like, check the values for this. see what they currently are. So, like, check along all axes of the F vector to see, you know, to basically see what the hell's happening. So UE underscore log temp warning text. So %F. Whoops. And then then format it with .y and up direction .z. Cool. Right. Okay, now we know what time it is. It is time to close the editor, close Rider, and then just rebuild the project again. It's time for the favorite part, where we just wait for things. So we're just gonna do that now. So just gotta wait for it to do its little check, little warm up, little thing. Good night, video game. Right. on a semi-related note, in terms of good night, like, a lot of what I do normally when I go to sleep, I just kind of, like, have some videos, like, on in the background as I'm trying to sleep. And a lot of it lately has been, like, full seasons of the Angry Video Game Nerd. I don't know why, I've just been getting back into watching him again, and it's kind of funny just to sort of sleep to those, like, full season episodes and whatnot. Like, first it was Caddy Sleeps. Like, sleep versions of Cad Icarus's videos. Then there was Ant Snooze, which was, like, sleep versions of Ant Dude's videos. Now it's just the Angry Video Game Nerds videos, like, full seasons. Like, it's pretty funny. You used to fall asleep to Jack... Honestly, based. Honestly. who at the time was known for screw. Oh yeah, no, he used to do a lot of that. Like he's definitely mellowed out a lot more in terms of like his in terms of how he reacts to stuff. Like there's still like a bit of noise here or there, but a lot of it now is a lot less yelling. You know, time changes a lot of things, like YouTube and the people on it. Yeah, he's very chill these days. It's a lot different. It's a lot different of an atmosphere nowadays. Like I remember, like from years ago, like not just like his normal content, but when people made animations of some of his content, that God, he used to yell so much. Like wow, it's kind of the same with AVGN. Like a lot of his earlier stuff was a lot of swearing, a lot of yelling, a lot of like being loud, but he's also he's also like mellowed out a lot over the years. Honestly, the videos now would be better. Bro really liked his being yelled at by someone content. I don't know if that's indicative of anything. I'm not going to say anything. But you know. Also, I realized December in a few days. I need to do, or I say I need, but I want to do a little thing for the PNG for the month of December. I want to draw some extra things for myself for December. So I'll probably do... I might do that tomorrow. Something dysfunctional. Oh, yeah. No. Yeah, no, that makes more sense. Sorry, Heater. Like, either Santa hat or draw an elf, but I probably want to opt for Santa hat. Because, I like that idea better. So I'm probably definitely gonna do it. I probably have to make, like, separate image files for, you know, those versions. Like, separate clip files, so I'm not overwriting what exists here right now. Because, you know, peace of mind. It keeps things a lot more organized for myself, really. Anyway, the editor is back open. And I'm interested in the output log, because... Put tinsel around the game. Yes! Like, I'd have to make it, like, a separate layer kind of thing, but... Yes! I, of course, couldn't put, like, mulled wine. I could do hot chocolate. I could do hot chocolate in a more, like, little festive mug. Right, so... Okay, oh yeah, no, right. So, yeah, no, it is as I said, with how the player's rotation works, it's based on... It's based on, movement direction. And because X is being set to -0, so just 0 in this case, its rotation... So because of that direction being applied, its rotation is still being set to, you know... It's just being set back to 0. It's being reset back to its default rotation because of this. So what I need to fix in the code is that little thing, because that's bugging me. So back into the player controller class. But that I want to do, like, neat, fun little things for December. And as I said previously, There are some like little stream things that I probably want to do throughout December, like bonus stream things that I've kind of had on the back burner for a while that I want to sort of follow up on. Like, maybe revisit Hollow Knight, because I did start that, saying, you know, I was experimenting for a potential other playthrough, and then I stopped. Like, literally after the one stream that I did of it, I stopped, which was kind of sad, because I was having fun with Hollow Knight. Also, that little early access game I played way back when, the game that was like N64 visuals with DMC style gameplay, which was called Carter's Quest. That game got a little bit of an update lately. Probably not too much, not to warrant like a full like stream of it perhaps. But it would be nice to revisit it because apparently there was like more little quest and story stuff added, which is pretty good. I enjoyed that game a lot back when I played it on stream way back when in August. That was pretty fun. So I would definitely want to revisit that. Maybe one of these days I'll just have a stream where it's like much like my fighting game streams where I like jump between a few throughout. It would just be jumping through like either early access games or smaller indie games and whatnot and do things that way, which, you know, I wouldn't be opposed to that. I could throw that on the list of ideas along with everything else that I already have on there. So yeah, I could do that. But we shall see how I feel during December. Okay, so so up direction dot x equals controlled pawn get actor forward vector dot x. And that is literally the one change that we need to make sure that the player doesn't just, you know, so the player doesn't just like turn back to their original, like to the original like 0 rotation. And once again, that means rebuilding everything again. This is why I need that SSD. I need that SSD. And I need to start sorting that out from tomorrow because I ordered it. And this is for people who do not know that I ordered a new SSD specifically, mostly for when Monster Hunter Wilds releases, because in like the store page description for that game, they basically say it is required for the game to perform normally. So that's one reason why I'm getting it. Another reason why I'm getting it is because it would be very helpful to put game dev projects onto an SSD rather than having them run on a HDD, because I can guarantee that most of my issues with slow compile times for Unreal Engine definitely originate from having it run off of a HDD rather than an SSD, and I want to solve that problem as soon as possible. It would make compiling code more of a breeze, and also probably like if I needed to quickly compile and prototype stuff for like a game jam, which I'm trying to plan on getting back into at some point, like sometime soon, then it would be great to be able to just do that quickly rather than say, yeah, I'm just waiting for it to compile and it's taking its time, sorry, and all that jazz to like other team members and whatnot. That would be very nice. So yeah, that is something I'm planning on doing. It is not taking as long, I hope. So we'll be back onto this soon. At the very least, this wait is less painful than, you know, having to wait for it, like, forever for it to compile. But I still want to sort it out. Right, it's almost there. Whew. Also, ad break starting again in a few minutes for everyone in chat. Though that doesn't apply to you if you're watching back on the VOD, so keep that in mind. But yeah, no, doing that kind of stuff for the for December it will be fun. I'd love to do it. Also, there's a tweak that I'm thinking of doing with the PNG that I honestly keep forgetting to do. And I reckon it will work, because I think the software that I'm using would accept an animation. I want to do like a couple frame animation where the mouth is moving. Because at the moment, like, while this is fine and all, it kind of feels a bit stiff in a way. Like, having it actually be like, you know, my flapping guns are moving. That would be pretty neat. So I do want to kind of work on that. I guess I'd have to weave it into, like, not just like the eyes open, but also the eyes closed thing. And I guess that would take some time. But I honestly would, like, I want to kind of go for the effort. So at the very least, things don't feel a bit stiff in my opinion. But that's just my personal opinion. Right. Project is back up. Oh, apparently I did not press play. Okay, that was silly. There we go. Okay, never mind. This didn't fix the problem at all. In fact, it made it worse. It made it worse. Probably because I'm also not setting the right vector. Right, we're going back into the code again. I need to put the content browser there. Hmm. Oh yeah, no, no, no. I hate when it does that. Right, now hopefully this time it should fix it. And now we're just recompiling it all again. Ah, gosh. The thing about finding and fixing bugs and doing stuff. Right. Binaries. Intermediate. Saved. Get rid of that. Generate files. Do that stuff again. La di da di da di da. Lead 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 lead. Oh, sorry. I am kind of bopping right now. Oop, ouch. And now it should be finishing compiling, I hope. Honestly, music could be too. Yep, just a moment. That should be a bit better. I'll just also adjust it a little bit on OBS. There we go. Forgive me for snapping my fingers, but I'm surprised my mic is picking it up, considering the fact that Discord doesn't pick this up. At least I don't think it does. It's almost open again. Holy. There we go. Right. Perfect. Right. And here's hoping this fixes things. If this does not fix things, I'm going to be upset. It probably won't. Of course it wouldn't, because it's constantly... Why did I... Ugh, whoops. Why did I think it would work? I have a simpler way of doing this. Hold on. I just remembered the simpler way of doing this. Just a moment. Grrr, why didn't I do this before? I thought I could just do it based on like how the movement was being applied, but nope. But now I get the feeling if I do this, it will mess things up even more. Right, I'm gonna wait for Ryder to do this thing first, because otherwise it's gonna force whatever I write sometimes down a little bit, and that kind of annoys me. It's kind of silly how it does it. You know what vibes I really wish I really wish could be emulated? And I mean fully. You know the fucking I'm just a chill guy meme? Like, fully emulate that. Because honestly, he's just a chill guy. Right, anyway, that is there. Where's the player controller? Yep, right. I do not need to do that. This was kind of pointless. Oh, wait. Hold on. I think I can actually do it within the blueprint. Hold on. But I do need to look at... Right, so... B is snap to wall. Right, there we go. Check hit.normal. So, I have an idea. And I know that like it's a lot of time that's been spent on trying to fix one little thing, but, you know, this is... I wasn't expecting it to be so finicky. Level objects, ladder. I'm gonna see if... Heater, I just read that. What the f... Right, we're gonna get the active forward vector. Oh, that's a quaternion, not... So rotation from X vector, that's... That gives a rotator. And set actor rotation. And I'm hoping that this does work. I was quick on that one. Whew. Also, I think I definitely need to recompile because of those changes, because I need to get rid of those lines in the code. Yeah, I need to get rid of those lines in the code. Right, we're closing the stuff again. Hopefully for the last time this stream, because, yeah. What the fuck? Someone's making a Yakuza... No, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. I was kind of like deleting and like rebuilding the project again, or deleting the project files and rebuilding the project so I can get rid of those lines of code. Someone is making a fucking Yakuza game in Roblox. What the hell is this world coming to? Like, that's crazy. Like, and it's well made? Like, Roblox devs, when they lock in, do insane shit. I look at this stuff and I think, is it possible to learn this power? I mean, not that I probably would make Roblox games, but it would be funny. Like, it's so crazy. Like, in the same vein, I guess it's the same thought process I had when I thought I was gonna, you know, try learning how to mod Minecraft, how to make Minecraft mods and whatnot. Which was almost 3 years ago. Because I was doing it, like, over the Christmas period of 2021, leading into the start of 2022, and then I stopped doing it. Right, it is almost back, it is almost done, it is almost loaded. We're almost happy. Well, not that we weren't happy, but we're almost happy with this thing being open again. Oh wait, no, actually, good idea, good idea. Project is open again. Right, let's see if if the changes made do fix things. I hope it does. I hope removing those 2 lines of code actually helped. Or 2 or 3 lines of code, because, you know, there was the UE log. Let's see. Will it still... Never mind. Bro is considering every single possibility of what they'll use to get past block terms. That's honestly crazy. Good, great job, Peter. Oh, that's weird. I think also, just as a little tweak, the collider, well, the box for this needs to be reduced a little bit. So, 200. Reduced and then brought down, so it only goes up to, like, the top of the, ladder. Right, I'm gonna try this again. That's better. Kind of. I think it needs to actually be brought down a little bit. So at the it's a bit crude. I think the same person made a better version of it, like a little while, like maybe a week or so after. I'm probably gonna look at that off stream, because while this does work, it is a bit. It has its hitches. It's a bit weird, and also like, Though at the very least, it wasn't just working on the ladders, it was making changes to the player controller, the player interface, or the player character interface, and some other things that will be helpful for later down the line, like being able to get the movement component from the player character if we needed to use it for, say, some interactions. Like, probably in the, let me think. In damage interactions, perhaps, for knockback and all that jazz. Like, that would be very helpful for me to have. So, yeah, those changes do help. Also, I'll probably talk about block term, follow me back. Yeah, no, oh yeah, no, that's a good point, actually. From when, like, bots would say, oh, I followed you on Twitter, please follow me back. Or I followed you on X or whatever. I'm never calling it that. I'm calling it Twitter. Twitter is the only name it should have ever had. Right, so it does okay. It does okay. it kind of messes around a little bit with the capsule collider a little bit, but all in all, it kind of works, but this rotating thing kind of annoys. I wonder if it was covered on... Oh, wait. I should also check is valid. Should also check is valid for this, so this doesn't execute if this is like a null pointer. And then here, so first get player movement component. So is valid. And then first things first. I mean, set the movement mode's already being set, so I don't need to set it here. But what I want to do is set orient rotation to movement to false. Oh, wait, to false. And then up here, or down here, I mean, not up here. Whoops. Set orient rotation to movement to true. Oh, wait, whoops. Multiply by, so to float, and then multiply that by -1. And then set this instead, so that it snaps to look at the ladder. But now that we've done that, the player will now face the ladder properly, which is what I wanted. So, cool. Right, that's working a bit better. I will look at the improved version of the tutorial, because I know it exists. But for the time being, this does work pretty well. This does work pretty well now. It still has its problems, but you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. Okay, so I think I'm going to call it here for today's stream. So I know it was like one little thing. I mean, there was also like some of the other adjustments and tweaks that we made. So it wasn't just focusing on the ladders, it was just making some little changes here or there as well. But to everyone who showed up and everyone watching things back on the VOD, whether it's here on Twitch or on YouTube, depending on when you're watching this, thank you ever so much for being here today. I really appreciate you being here. Next stream will of course be tomorrow, technically today. You went through every message from a banned bot, that was fun. Woo! Tomorrow will be Monster Hunter World. Most likely Sappy Jiva stuff, that will be fun to do on stream. So it will be Monster Hunter World this time, not me changing it last minute. But yeah, that's what's happening tomorrow, or technically today now, but you know what I mean. But thank you ever so much.